Hey there rockers, Erich Andreas with your Guitar Sage, and today, as promised, this is video 7 of our 7-part series, and today we're going to be discussing the 12-bar blues, except we're going to be jazzing it up, making it sound a lot cooler than the basic 12-bar blues that we might be used to. This is best done if you have some sort of looping software or a looper pedal or a jam track to do this over, or if you have a buddy to jam with. I'll show you what their part would be and then your part. Okay, on the Unstoppable Guitar System.com, if you check that out, we're going to actually have a lot of jams on there where you'll be able to do this very thing, and you won't have to have a looper pedal or something like that. You'll just be able to jam over the top of it. So check that out if you haven't already. Plus there's a free video series there that's only available there and not here on YouTube. So, the basic chords that we're going to be using for this is the A7, D7, and E7. If you're unfamiliar with this chord progression, you can search here, 12-bar blues, your Guitar Sage here on YouTube, and you'll find this chord progression, but I'm going to go over it with you anyhow right now, so you probably won't need it. Okay, so an A7 is basically an A chord with a flatted 7 in it, so you can easily do this by just taking your second and third finger and put it at the second fret of the fourth and second string. Don't pick the low E string. That's our A7. Our D7, you're just going to move that same bit down one string and then put your first finger on the first fret of the B string and play from the D or fourth string down. And then ultimately an E7, which is basically an E chord, lift the ring finger. So that's our basic chords, and the basic chord progression, if you can loop this, like I say, or do it to a jam track, UnstoppableGuitarSystem.com, check that out there, or have a buddy do this, but you want to do it over and over and over again because we're going to be learning some new techniques, and you've got to have the basic chord progression running underneath you, okay? So I'm just going to strum the 1, I'm going to strum down on the 1 of the chord and hold it out for 4 beats each, and the chord progression is going to go like this: 2, 3, 4. A7, 2, 3, 4. A7, 2, 3. A7, 4. 2, D7, 2, 3, 4. D7, A7, 2, 3, 4. A7, E7, D7, A7, 2, 3, E7, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the top, okay? So we got 4 A7s, 2 D7s, 2 A7s. And then the turnaround or the ending goes A7, D7, or I'm sorry, it goes D7, E7, A7, E7. Okay? Other way around, sorry. E7, 2, 3, 4, D7, A7. E7. Okay, if you have any difficulties with this, check out the other video, Your Guitar Sage 12-Bar Blues. Just YouTube that and you'll find it. Okay, but that's the basic chord progression here. I've got my handy-dandy looper pedal because what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our skeleton, okay, or our basic chordal structure. But we can do so many things over the top of it, and learning these little tricks and techniques will help you really jazz something up that's normally very basic, okay? So let's get to looping here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. Okay, so this is our A7. Here's our D7, our A7, our E7 here, D7, A7, hit it, and then E7. And then it starts over again, okay? So that continuous 12-bar loop or 12-measure loop, continually looping over it, will give us a structure to do what we're going to do over this, okay? The first part of this lesson is a Boogie Woogie lick, and then I'm going to show you how to use some different versions of chords over the top of this to make it sound really cool. So the first part of this is a basic Boogie Woogie lick, And for this lick, you're only going to use 2 strings at a time, okay? For the A7, what you're going to do is you're going to put your first finger at the 2nd fret of the D string, mute the low E string with your thumb, and you're going to toggle back and forth on the D string in between the 2nd and 4th fret, like this. And your strumming is going to be a swing, like... You can play it with a down-up pattern, or you could do just down. If you want to get fancy, you can mute it. That's what we call a swing, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to toggle back and forth between the 1st and 3rd finger, or the 2nd and 4th fret. It's going to sound like this. Let's slow it down. If you learn this one technique, you'll be able to play the whole tune like this. Okay, so get that technique down, pause the video if you need to, and then come back. Make sure you get that, because you're going to use that for all 3 chords. So that's your A7. It has an A in the bass, and then we've got this little melody thing going on, right? Once you get that, when we go to the D7, you're just taking that whole bit right there, strings 5 and 4, and you're taking that whole musical motif or musical idea and you're dropping it down 1 string. Now to the 4th and 3rd string, same bit here, same finger, same fingering, same rhythm, same everything, just carbon copy of it down 1 string, okay? And you're going to do this. And you're going to play that for as long as that chord is represented, okay? So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 1 measure. So you do that 4 times if you got 4 chords in a row. Okay. So now we go to our D7, and then our A7. When we go to our E7, drop it down a string again. Okay. Now we're playing on strings 6 and 5. Fingering's the same. Fretting's the same, rhythm's the same. Okay, and notice that I'm also muting whatever string I'm not wanting to sound. So I'm wanting to hear 6, I'm wanting to hear 5, and all these other ones are muted with my hand, okay, with my finger here. I'm getting kind of lazy, what I say, getting lazy, kind of laying on the strings a little bit, the ones that I don't want to hear. Okay, super helpful for this technique. So. Okay, so let's try it now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the chord progression and I'm going to play this basic Boogie Woogie lick over the top of it, and I'm going to show you some other really cool things that you can do Boogie Woogie style on top of this. So here we go. Going to the D7, back to A7, E7, D7, A7, again, A7, D7, A7, E7, D7, A7. Okay, so we had that little stop, but we were playing in time, it was looping, the band keeps going, we keep going, we don't have to stop just because the music stops, okay? That's why we have orchestration. This guy stops, we keep going, as long as we're playing in time, it's going to sound good, okay? Okay, so you can play that straight through. If you're a newbie, if you've never done this Boogie Woogie lick before, then boom, there you go. Let me show you a little something we can add to it. We can add our Pinkie and do this bit. Or you could do something like, experiment with that one, okay? But basically you're just putting the Pinkie in between 2 of these. I'm going to slow it down. coming back to that first finger every time. So this is what that sounds like. Okay, then we're back to the top again. So there's another little tidbit that you can use with Boogie Woogie licks. Let's talk about another really super cool ninja bit that you can do in regards to playing the 12-bar blues. We have an A7 represented. That's one A7 right there. Okay, you can either check out ebook 1 or actually ebook 2 on yourguitarsage.com, and I have some of these other forms of these seventh chords. Okay, it's in ebook 2, so if you want to check that out, do that. There may be some in the free ebook that's represented on that site too. I'm not sure, forget. Anyhow, get that. I believe there's a few seventh chords in there, and it'll help you with this. Okay, if we have A7 represented for, say, 4 measures, that means any A7 that we play over the top of it will sound really cool. And we'll use this to kind of spice things up, okay? So for instance, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know this is an A7 as well. We don't have the time for me to show you every form, but if this is an A7, then we can play that. Or this is an A7. Or this. Or this. Those are all A7s, okay? If you have your buddy looping this, or you're at unstoppableguitarsystem.com and you got that loop playing there, that jam, or you have a looper pedal or something like that, you'll be able to do this, okay? So check it out. This is an A7. This is this, this, okay? And I'm going to use them interchangeably over this A7. The first 4 measures of this are A7, so it should sound good. Okay, so you see that? Now, what I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it with the whole tune. When I'm playing my D7, that was one version that I used. I also will use this version, which is kind of like your C7 scooched up 1 fret. So C7, C sharp 7, D7. So technically that one will work. So with this one, that was the original one we used. We could use this form, which is our A7 form, moved up. So there's 3 A7s, D7s right there. Here's another form. Here's another form. Comes from our E7 form, but slid up to the D7. Watch my video on the caged system, C-A-G-E-D, and Your Guitar Sage. Look that up here on YouTube. Be very helpful. Teach you kind of what I'm doing here. Okay, so we got several versions of that chord there. And then the E7, you got the same basic forms. Here's my D7. I'm just going to scooch it up. D7, D sharp 7, E7. And I got that form, just like I did here. And I got that form. All these different forms of the chord that we can play pretty easily. So what I'm going to do is when I'm playing this chord progression, I'm thinking of the chord, and then I'm saying, okay, I can play any version of that chord, and I just need to give it a little bit of a rhythm. Obviously, this takes a little bit of time to get, but anybody can do this if you take the time to do it. Okay, so here we go. Check this out. Okay, so you get a basic idea there. I'm just kind of noodling over the top of those chords. We can also do fun things like if it's a, say like a D7, I can, which is just grabbing the same chord that you want a half step below and sliding into it. Super cool little ninja technique there. You might want to try that. And okay, take these chords, memorize each different form, and then when you hear the chord progression changing, then you can do what I'm doing here, okay? So on the way out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the chord progression and I'm just going to noodle over the top of it, doing different things, and you're going to see. Okay, he's on the A7, you're going to see me doing the A7 Boogie Woogie lick, then you'll see me doing some other chords representing the A7. Totally valid to do that, okay? Here we go.